We're back here in the final segment of our program, Jones and Company, and we are speaking about healthcare today with the Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands. And Dr. Sands, you know, in recent times you've been roundly criticized. How does it make you feel when you read the newspapers, you hear the comments, you hear the comments on talk shows about the condition of the hospital and what ought to be done? For instance, the other day, there was a crisis in dialysis. You must have some sleepless nights.
I believe I'm in good company. So if we look historically at the leaders of this country, we could start with the current Prime Minister. There's not a single politician who's probably been more commonly and more often criticized than him. And yet he puts his shoulder to the wheel and he pushes on. Hubert Ingram, same thing. So it means that you're in good company and you're probably getting the job done. When you tackle tough problems, it generates conversation and criticism. What I try to do is to remain undeterred. You got to understand, I'm a trauma surgeon, I'm a heart surgeon. Most of what I do is not easy. So when somebody comes in, oftentimes, and I have to deal with them, there's a good possibility they're going to die. And I have to stand in the gap to stop them from dying. The same drive I bring to this job. And so if I wanted to deal with the easy problems, we would not get very far. So we go in, we dig to the guts, to the root cause of what's happening in dialysis, to what's happening with the infrastructure in the critical care block, what's happening with nursing, what's happening with the physicians, etc. We make it topical, okay? And I invite the public to participate in that conversation.
The people in dialysis, the dialysis unit, they are overwhelmed, it seems. There are a whole lot of patients.
600 patients paid for by the people of the Bahamas. So we have 600 public dialysis patients in a unit that can truly only handle 125. And so they are managing 200 and struggling to do so, and another 400 have been outsourced, okay? Imagine having to do that in cramped conditions with not enough staff because the bodies simply don't exist, where maintenance is a challenge, where the machines are not functioning adequately, and where resources are limited.
But there's something called priority. You need to prioritize in healthcare, it seems. And if the dialysis unit is one of these critical units that you must attend to, that you need some more machines for, and some more support staff for.
I started my tenure as minister with almost $100 million of unpaid commitments, with millions of dollars in unpaid bills for dialysis services, millions of dollars of unpaid bills for dialysis services. And we have been chipping away at this backlog month after month after month. There was a time when vendors were threatening to stop supplying the hospital and the public health system with medication. Why? Because we didn't have the money. We could look backwards and say, how did we get here? And why was the managers, broadly used, so irresponsible to allow the system to get there? I choose to look forward. And so when I see the situation that's there, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We are going to fix it.
Right, but Dr. Sands, the public perception of you is this. You're an excellent physician. Everybody knows that, all right? World class. You can make a living anywhere. You went to one of the best medical schools in the world, Johns Hopkins. But because you're supposed to be a policymaker, that's what you are supposed to be, a policymaker. They see you in management. And like you said, I think the managers in many areas of the public service have dropped the ball.
You accept that? You accept that the managers of
yes.
the hospitals that we have in this
Not
country
only in the hospitals,
have let the side down, and public servants,
public service.
public servants.
I believe that the net product that we have delivered has been suboptimal.
Okay.
And that it is not simply that you can point fingers at the managers. They were not given oftentimes either the direction, the leadership, or the resources to function. Okay? And so the net effect is that across the public sector now, we have shambles, chaos, challenge. And so the question is, how does policy lead to improved performance?
Could it be?
I certainly don't believe that I manage. What I do is I want to demonstrate that I am aware of what's
But
happening.
Minister, you're the public face.
Of course. And so many times, the minister gets blamed
Exactly.
for stuff that he don't know about.
Yes, because you're the public face.
What I choose to do, as you're supposed to do, the buck stops with me. Now, whether I know about it or don't know about it, the buck stops with me. And so, trust me, I can find out what happened.
But where's the chief medical officer? Where's the permanent secretary?
Where's
Where's the with the executive director of the Public Health Authority?
Come on,
Where are these people?
This is a media construct. The media is not interested in talking to the permanent secretary. The media is not interested in talking to the CMO.
Shows us
When the CEO of Love 97 or Jones Communications sends his reporters out, they say, go talk to the minister. Okay? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
You see, I don't know whether or not your public servants, your CMO and others, make themselves accessible to media. Because there are things that they ought to be involved in that they simply are not involved in. For instance, the other day, the conch poisoning. The minister was giving all the statements on conch poisoning. We didn't hear from the chief medical officer.
We did initially, but the preference of media is to go straight to the responsible.
Yes, because that is habit. That is a culture that has developed in media generally in this country. But it takes people like you to fix that, to change that. And to say to a young reporter, no, go to my chief medical officer or go to the manager of the hospital's authority.
Mr. Jones, I defy you to point to a point in time when the leaders of a major journalism house would have been invited into Princess Margaret Hospital the way you were to see firsthand what was going on without the minister present. Do you think that was accidental? We wanted you and other media leaders to have an unfiltered view of what was going on, so that you could go and touch and feel and see exactly what was going on, okay? Without the optics being clouded by the minister, okay? And I am sure that you have a very different view of our healthcare system now that you had that opportunity. Nobody put any brakes on where you could go. Let's go left, let's go right, let's go, let me open this door, let me see what is there.
You know, Minister.
That is what ought to be happening, whereby the minister sits in the corner, okay, and you have an opportunity to see firsthand. That's called transparency.
Yes, I
Minister,
appreciate that.
he and I have an argument all the time, you know. He believes that to be a minister, you're an exception, that you have expertise in your area. He argues with me that a minister doesn't have the expertise in an area. The minister just needs to ensure that policy is carried out. But because you have expertise in your area and you know about these things, you have a public face.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to separate out Duane Sands, the doctor, from Duane Sands, the minister. Particularly since Duane Sands, the minister, is still operating, okay? And Monday, I will be in the operating room in the Rand Memorial Hospital operating on public patients, okay?
Why you can't fix that by now?
You
can't bring somebody in to take that load off you?
We have a Bahamian vascular surgeon who is now coming in, Amal Higgins, qualified Bahamian vascular surgeon. He's coming in periodically, but his father's ill, okay? And so he is unable, his father is now in hospice care. And so he has said, look, I'm sorry, I cannot live up to the commitment because of a family emergency. So what do? Do we let the patient suffer? So yes, I would like to totally extract myself if I could, okay? But at the end of the day, patients first. Patients first.
I hear you. And you do this without extra pay.
Without any extra pay, without any pay at all. So when you look at the dialysis situation in the Bahamas, we are really in a crisis, and it's a crisis due to the choices that we have made. Okay, it's lifestyle, it is less than ideal primary care, it is an unwillingness to deal with the hypertension and diabetes and so on and so forth. Whatever that is, when you have 700, 800 total patients on dialysis in a country of this size, it says we are in a crisis.
What are you doing about prevention? We have a media company. We are willing to work with the Ministry of Health in terms of educating people, as we do on an ongoing basis. What are you doing about prevention, about educating people?
We have started that process. Clearly, we need to do better. We have another breadbasket tour stop in Exuma this Thursday. We've now done a number of islands and a number of communities in New Providence, but your point is well taken, to have media partners that help to get the message out. Because fundamentally, this has to be about prevention. This has to be about prevention. We cannot pay our way or medicate our way or operate our way out of this mess, okay? It has to be about people understanding about the choices that they can make that would lead to healthier lifestyle, healthier outcomes, et cetera, and better health. So the conversation needs to be had with yourself and other media houses to partner with the Ministry of Health to get the message out.
Minister, thank you very much for being here today.
Privilege and a pleasure.
We always enjoy speaking with you. And you are one of these ministers, you field every single question.
Yes, yeah.
And you don't duck questions, and so we thank you very much.
And he doesn't get uptight at pointed and directed questions.
Doesn't get uptight, that's right. Thank you so very much. Thank you for watching and listening to our program, and we thank Robert Carron as well in his absence. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.